Coming up on HIGMT, Cleantechnica reveals its car of the year, Tesla pulls a magic trick into showrooms, making Model S and Model X's disappear, 4680 cell production teaser video, and I update local Tesla trends here in Ottawa. Welcome to How I Got My Tesla, the podcast of indeterminate length for Saturday, January 16th, 2021, episode 25 in Ottawa, Ontario. I'm Matt Wilson. Let's start off with a few Tesla things you should know. Cleantechnica.com has announced its car of the year, and it's the best-selling electric vehicle in the world, even though it's being only delivered to customers in the United States and in Canada. They are, of course, referring to the Tesla Model Y. There's plenty of background information on how they determined the car of the year in the show notes below, including links to several articles and videos from the past year. Other vehicles in consideration for the car of the year include the Ford Mustang Mach-E, Lucid Air, Polestar 2, Rivian R1T, and the Volkswagen ID3 and ID4. Some of the determining factors for the car of the year point towards competitive pricing, performance and efficiency, and available tech to the driver, which includes infotainment and the driver's assist options. Now, that's something to be said about the Tesla Model Y, which was just released from production last year, and they just started spooling up out of Fremont. To have the car of the year being awarded to the Tesla Model Y is something to be said about the particular vehicle. It's really nice to see that they're able to snatch that award from Cleantechnica. Now, the Tesla Model Y is my favorite vehicle across Tesla's fleet. With exception to the Tesla Model X, but that is cost prohibitive. So rather than lusting after a Model X, I think the Tesla Model Y, especially with the standard range variant that was released last week, is something that is very interesting to me on my pursuit to getting some sort of a Tesla in my driveway. So that's really great news for everyone who works for Tesla and all the, I guess, the sales associates to actually have the Tesla Model Y being the car of the year from Cleantechnica. So that's probably an award that is very well deserved. And while we're talking about the Tesla Model Y, a recent production run of the Model Y from Fremont appear to have the integrated megacasting rear end. Recent pictures provided to TeslaAudio.com and Twitter user @TonyTeslaForLife compares an earlier release of the Model Y to a more current release with a VIN in the 97,000 range. Based on the supplied pictures, it looks like Tesla has moved away from their initial testing and is now using 2 installed Giga Presses at Fremont to produce large single castings of the lower rear portion of the Model Y, thus reducing the overall parts count for the vehicle. And while we're talking about Giga Presses, there are more Giga Press parts that have been delivered to Gigafactory Berlin. TeslaAudio.com has a story, and Twitter user GF4Tesla has several pictures of parked heavy haul trailers with presumably press parts from IDRA, who manufactured the Giga Presses for Tesla. 3 weeks ago in episode 22, I noted that IDRA has delivered the initial parts for just one of 8 planned Giga Presses for Gigafactory Berlin. With 8 Giga Presses, it'll probably take around 200 truckloads of materials just to be delivered for this one operation alone. More evidence of a refreshed Model S and Model X are building, and much does it have to do with the movements from Tesla themselves. Many Tesla showrooms are now curiously devoid of Model S's and Model X's. As previously noted in my podcast, Tesla has shut down the production for both vehicles just started before Christmas, and production was to start up this past week. Many are suspecting that the shutdown has to do with a planned refresh of both vehicles, something that has not been done since 2016. Although there is still no news on Tesla's website, I actually suspect that we'll be hearing from Tesla about the refreshed models by the end of January. So there are links to the story from TeslaAudio.com and from CNET.com in the show notes below. Now, not having these 2 particular vehicles in the Tesla showroom is actually a pretty big deal for Tesla. This probably points to the refresh and the release of the new Model S and Model X probably shortly, like I said, before the end of this month, to actually pull those models away from the Tesla showrooms indicates to me that they're actually probably very close to releasing this information to new prospective buyers. I also heard, and I can't remember where I saw the article, but I did hear that the sales staff in the Tesla showrooms have been highly encouraged to offload as many Tesla X's and S's that they happen to have in inventory just to make room for the refresh for the 2021 calendar year. So I guess it'll be interesting to see what happens towards the end of the month and whether or not Tesla is able to finalize the details of the refreshed models and get that information to the prospective customers who might be actually looking to get into an S or an X. In a recent recruiting video from Tesla, their new 4680 cells are shown in different stages of production. The article originates from Ivanex, who makes and distributes aftermarket accessories for Tesla vehicles. Although much of the proprietary technology for the creation of the 4680 cells is left out of the video is actually still pretty mesmerizing to see with the amount of automation that is needed to produce each cell at volume. Tesla is currently using this video on LinkedIn as part of their hiring campaign for the battery production at Gigafactory Berlin. Current 4680 cell production is happening just down the street from the Fremont facility in California. Sandy Monroe from Monroe & Associates has something new in their workspace, and that is the new 2021 Tesla Model 3. The video and the link in the show notes below has Sandy looking at the overall exterior and interior fit and finish of the Model 3 dual motor long range variant. At first glance, the Model 3 still has many gapping issues and alignment issues around one side and along the back of the vehicle. Curiously, only one side of the vehicle appears to have the gapping and alignment issues, while the opposite side is just fine, almost as though there were two different people that were tasked with panel gapping on the same vehicle. Overall paint quality and finish has improved since the first iteration of the Model 3 back in 2018. There are no issues with the interior of the Model 3 that were found, and Sandy had mentioned that more videos are planned in the future, looking at more specific components such as the suspension and possibly the use of the Megacastings in the front and rear assemblies. So I suspect a full teardown will actually be happening in the next couple months. And after watching the video, you could, I think what happened is that Sandy had the vehicle at the shop for about a week, but he had actually not seen anything from the vehicle until it was revealed in his video. And you can almost look at Sandy and the look of disappointment whenever he was taking a look at the gapping issues and the alignment issues along the passenger side of the vehicle right off the hop. So it's kind of as much as he was hoping to have all these issues taken care of, 2 or 3 years after his first initial teardown on the Model 3, it's still kind of funny to see him still, talking about the same issues that were evident, 2 years ago. So I think there's still hope for Tesla to improve their overall fit and finish of their vehicles, especially coming out of Fremont. I guess this probably is more of an alert for any new prospective buyer that no matter which Tesla you end up buying, to definitely start paying attention to the gapping around the panels and the alignment between the panels and some of the other fixtures on the exterior of the vehicle before you take possession and drive away from the service center or the showroom. So I think there are actually checklists that you can go to so that you can remain on task whenever you are taking possession of your vehicle and you're not distracted by just how glorious it is to actually get a Tesla. It pays to actually stay focused during the pre-delivery inspection and make sure that there are no deficiencies on the vehicle that haven't been already previously identified during your PDI. So next time you're taking possession of your vehicle, before you head out to finalize the paperwork and take possession of that, definitely go online and Google checklists that are available for whatever Tesla model that you end up purchasing. I think there are several that are available, and they're broken down by the make and the model of the vehicle that you're purchasing. So again, it's kind of funny to see Sandy kind of still scratching his head about the gapping issues and the fixture alignment issues on the exterior of the car. Although overall, I think he was pretty impressed with the improvements over his last inspection, which again were from 2018. Way back in episode 5, I had a story regarding a solar roof tile job where a 14,000 kilowatt solar roof was installed along with 2 power walls for a total cost of around $40,000. Well, that particular job has been now eclipsed almost 4 times with another solar roof installation in Florida. Electric.co has the article where business owner Tony Cho recently had a huge 44 kilowatt solar roof installed, consisting of over 800 individual panels and with 4 power walls. Now, what is especially noteworthy regarding this installation is the complexity of the roof, which has many differing pitches, protrusion, and hips and valleys. With traditional solar roof panels, the total coverage would have been significantly less than the Tesla solar roof tiles. Now, at 44 kilowatts, the new solar roof installation creates about 80% of the energy used on the sprawling retreat. And Tony Cho had also mentioned that the 26% federal tax credit in the U.S. has been recently extended, making the installation much more affordable. There's some construction videos and drone shots of the installation, so definitely check out the link in the show notes below. And like I said previously, I'm a big fan of the solar roof tiles that Tesla is generating out of Buffalo. It's really, I think the product that is being offered by Tesla is probably unmatched against anybody in the solar roof industry. And what I find really an irritant, especially for homes in the Ottawa area, it seems that a lot of small companies have sprung up to install solar roof panels on top of roofs, but to be honest, they don't make the best use of the space that's available, and they just look so hideous when they are finally done installing. They're just huge panels that are usually supported with aluminum struts that have been fastened to the base roof that has already been in place. So it's just something that every time I see it, I just kind of shake my head. I'm like, wow, I really hope that they are getting their money's worth out of that particular product, because if it were up to me and I had the funds available, I would definitely be checking out the solar roof tiles from Tesla, or even the solar roof panels if that particular product is more in line with what will work best for the roof that I currently have. Even their solar roof panels look so much better, and it looks like the installation is so much cleaner than the installations that I see here around town. So as Tesla has starting to move forward to mass production of their solar roof panels and tiles, I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for options that are going to be available to me probably in my next future home. And as we're getting close to the end of this podcast, we might as well take a look at the Gigafactory in Texas. And thanks again to Jeff Roberts and Joe Tegmeyer for their daily drone footage. In Joe's January 15th video, he provides us the basic layout for Gigafactory Texas. The megapad area is actually drying out, making for a much cleaner and less miserable working area. There are more concrete components at the southeast corner of the building, which is over the stamping plant, and the same thing goes for the northeast corner of the building, which encloses the casting plant. Based on the progress of the casting plant, a total of 8 Giga Presses are likely to be installed. There are large areas of the stamping plant that are currently built with steel reinforced concrete slabs, and areas that were once treated as separate buildings are now being connected with more structural steel component, which actually makes me to think that the Gigafactory Texas will basically look like one huge building with drive-through corridors, maybe for deliveries. Geopier work is almost done, and the old closed asphalt plant in the northeast corner of the megapad area is now being used as a temporary covered warehouse for electrical and HVAC components. The west perimeter foundation wall is now exposed after curing, showing off the locations of many loading bays. And there are a total of 18 mobile crawler cranes now on site, which is 2 more than they were operating 2 weeks ago. Now, that being said, there's still no underground infrastructure anywhere to be seen on site. And one of the things that struck me as the building progresses, the roof systems and floor systems are in place. The interior of the Gigafactory will actually be incredibly dark. I would not be surprised if additional powerful lighting will be needed in order to complete work during the day, probably the same type of lighting that is needed for working at night. And because this is episode 25, we're going to take a look at the local EV stats that I'm seeing driving around. So since mid-July, about 6 months ago, I've driven a total of 17,000 kilometers, and Tesla still seems to be seen more often in Ottawa at a quite stable rate of 2-to-1 over all other EVs combined. And if you were to take the Nissan Leaf out of the equation, Tesla has a 4-to-1 lead over all other EVs here in Ottawa. And one of the funny things about tracking all the Teslas here in Ottawa is finding out which color is actually more popular. So say, for instance, you wanted to know the most popular color for the Model S. Well, according to my stats, that would be solid black, while the red multicoat is the least popular here in town. And actually, the red multicoat was the least popular color across all 4 models. So if you want your Tesla to stand out from the sea of other Teslas that you see here in town in terms of color, maybe the red multicoat is the color for you, or you can just simply get a wrap for your vehicle. According to my stats, the biggest jump from 10 weeks ago was the Model Y with an increase of 78% witnessed here in Ottawa. The remaining fleet of Teslas, the Model S's, 3s and X's, were seen 28% more often than were present around 10 weeks ago. The most popular non-Tesla EV remains to be the Nissan Leaf, while the least popular EV is actually tied now with the Jaguar I-Pace and the Smart ED vehicle. Well, that should pretty much do it for episode 25. If you're looking to purchase a Tesla and you want 1,000 free supercharging miles, feel free to use my referral program link in the show notes below, or head on over to ts.la/Matthew40942. According to Tesla, I have no new friends. I'm starting to get used to that. So my current Tesla friend is Chatty. And the overall hashtag for this episode, let's try hashtag Vanishing Teslas. And the overall hashtag for this podcast is hashtag HIGMT. And if you have any emails for me, feel free to throw me an email at howigotmytesla@gmail.com. And as always, you can watch my progress towards a Tesla by visiting howigotmytesla.com. And you can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram by simply searching for How I Got My Tesla. So thank you for listening. This podcast is produced by Matt Wilson and hosted by Squarespace. Music for this episode is Cascade by Cubby.